Chimugo within 24 hours. Efcc declares foreign national wanted for alleged involvement in Cbex fraud. Appeal court affirms conviction of UNICAR professors sentenced to prison for manipulating election results. On the foreign scene, Donald Trump praises tariffs and businesses in cabinet meeting as U.S. economy shrinks for first time since 2022. Good evening. This is News at 7 on Western Spring Television. I am Timitope Ajijololuwola. Justice Inyang Ekwo of the Federal High Court in Abuja has ordered the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, to release socialite and businesswoman Aisha Achimugo within 24 hours. Justice Ekwo also ordered that the parties report to the court on May 2nd on the outcome of his order. Justice Ekwo had on Monday ordered Achimugo to submit herself to the anti-graft agency in connection with an ongoing investigation bordering on money laundering and other offences. He also held that following her appearance at the EFCC office, the anti-graft agency has to return and make an appearance before the court with her on Wednesday for a report. The Woodbury court that the EFCC arrested Achimugo at 5 a.m. on Tuesday at the Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport. The EFCC is investigating Achimugo on a case involving conspiracy, obtaining money by false pretense, money laundering, corruption, and possession of properties reasonably suspected to have been unlawfully obtained. In a similar development, the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, has released popular socialite Emeka Okonkwo, popularly known as E-Money, on bail. According to reports, E-Money was released on Wednesday and would be charged to court soon. E-Money had been arrested on Tuesday on allegations of Naira abuse. He was subsequently taken into EFCC's custody in Abuja. He was said to have been spotted at a public event, allegedly spraying the Naira and some US dollar bills, an offense said to be contrary to Nigeria's Foreign Exchange Monitoring and Miscellaneous Provisions Act. A few days back, Nigerian singer Terry Akpala was remanded over alleged abuse of the country's banknotes. Meanwhile, the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, has declared one foreign national, Elie Betar, wanted for his alleged involvement in a cryptocurrency fraud linked to the online trading platforms Crypto Bridge Exchange, Cbex. According to an official bulletin issued by the Commission, 41-year-old Betar is wanted for a suspected fraudulent scheme carried out via Cbex, which has reportedly defrauded multiple unsuspecting investors across Nigeria. The Commission disclosed that Betar's last known address as a Judge Enemo Crescent, Lekki Phase 1, Lekki, Lagos State. The EFCC urged anyone with useful information regarding Betar's whereabouts to contact any of its zonal offices in Ibadan, Uyo, Sokoto, Maiduguri, Benin, Makurdi, Kaduna, Ilori, Enugu, Kano, Lagos, Gombe, Port Harcourt, or Abuja. Cbex emerged in the wake of Nigeria's growing appetite for cryptocurrency investments. It promised users quick and high returns through crypto trading and investments, but soon drew suspicion over its lack of regulatory compliance and transparency. Staying with judicial matters, the Court of Appeal in Calabar has affirmed the conviction of Peter Ogban, a professor of soil science at the University of Calabar, who was sentenced to prison for manipulating election results. In March 2021, the High Court in Akwa Ibom State sentenced Ogban to 3 years in prison for manipulating election results. Ogban, who was the returning officer in the senatorial election in Akwa Ibom Northwest in 2019, was also fined 100,000 naira. The court found the professor guilty of altering results of the election to favor the All Progressives Congress against the People's Democratic Party. The professor was accused of announcing false election results in favor of Godswill Akpabio, the then APC senatorial candidate. Ogban had told the trial court that he did not influence the election but only collated the results as given to him by the polling officers of local government areas. A federal high court sitting in Port Harcourt has dismissed a suit filed by the Rivers State suspended governor Simonalayi Fubara, Victor Okojumbo, and two others against the suspended Speaker of the Rivers State House of Assembly, Martin Amewule, and 26 other lawmakers. The plaintiffs had filed the suits challenging the legitimacy of Amewule and the 26 lawmakers following their alleged defection from the People's Democratic Party, PDP, to the All Progressives Congress, APC. According to reports, when the matter came up in court, counsel to the lead claimant applied for an adjournment. This application was opposed by counsel to the respondents, and the court presided over by Justice Emmanuel Obile agreed with the respondents' argument. Delivering judgment on the matter, Justice Obile declined jurisdiction, stating that the issue had already been determined by the Supreme Court in a separate case. The judge therefore dismissed the suit. The British High Commission has rejected claims that a man arrested in Delta State over alleged illegal arms procurement is a serving member of the United Kingdom military. On Monday, a delegation of Niger Delta stakeholders and a coalition of civil society organizations had petitioned the High Commission over an alleged plot to incite unrest in Warri, Delta State. They asked the Commission to probe Meka Polo, a man who was identified as a major in the British Army. Polo, who is Nigerian by birth, was recently apprehended in connection with procuring illegal arms to fuel the alleged planned mayhem. However, the SS operatives from the Delta Command were said to have fought the move last Friday, arresting the arms supplier during a covert exchange near Asaba. Meanwhile, in the statement on Wednesday, a spokesperson for the British High Commission clarified the country's connection to Polo. The Commission, however, noted that Polo did serve as a junior ranking officer in the UK Armed Forces Reserves, but was discharged. An Edo State High Court sitting in Igara, Akoko-Edo local government area on Wednesday declared the impeachment of the elected chairman of the local government, Taju Alade, illegal and ordered his immediate reinstatement. In his ruling, the presiding judge, Justice B.A. Oko, directed the Inspector General of Police, Kayode Egbetokun, to provide him with the needed security to resume office. Oko, in his declarative judgment, also said the court has jurisdiction contrary to the challenge by the state government that the court does not have jurisdiction. Now to security. The president of Arewa Grassroots Leaders Assembly, Collins Onogo, has backed the course for self-defense as part of moves to tackle insecurity in the north. Speaking at a press conference in Abuja on Wednesday, Onogo called on the government to legalize the possession of AK-47s for self-defense in rural communities. He also asked the federal government to deploy more security personnel to the affected areas and establish a task force to investigate and apprehend perpetrators. A former Minister of Youth and Sports, Solomon Dalong, and some others had earlier made a case for citizens to be allowed to acquire guns to defend themselves. Operatives of the Operation Clean and Healthy Anambra, popularly called Ocha Brigade, have raided and sealed an illegal disinfectant manufacturing factory located at 14 Chris Ugwezu Street, Odumel Bosi, in Idemili North local government area of the state. The managing director of Ocha Brigade, Celestine Anere, said the early morning raids took place on Tuesday following a coordinated effort by the brigades to crack down on all unregulated and dangerous goods circulating in the state. While speaking to journalists in Onitsha on Wednesday, Anere disclosed that the factory was operating without licenses, using manual mixing equipment, on unlabeled chemicals, thinners, and counterfeit packaging materials to produce dangerous household items. Anere further warned that similar operations would continue across the state to rid a number of illegal businesses at the compromise health and safety standards. The National Association of Nigerian Students, NANS, has dismissed recent claims by Henry Okunomo, who allegedly represented himself as a former Senate president of the association, describing his assertions as false and an attempt at blackmail. In a statement signed by the National Public Relations Officer of NANS, Comrade Adeyemi Ajasa, the association clarified that Okunomo has never held any such position and cautioned the public against being misled. Okunomo had earlier appeared on Channels television, claiming to have previously held the position of Senate President of the association. NANS also discredited any suggestion that one Mr. Abubakar is currently serving as its president. According to the association, the only recognized and duly elected president is Comrade Olushola Oladoja. In other news, the federal government has called for a new financing model for Hajj pilgrimage to enable more Nigerians have access to the spiritual journey. Speaking during the second National Hajj Stakeholders Summit on Wednesday in Abuja, Vice President Kashim Shettima said this is pertinent with the increasing costs associated with Hajj coupled with economic fluctuations and global uncertainties. He added that Nigeria has valuable lessons to learn from countries like Malaysia and Indonesia. Shettima said the models exemplified the potential of strategic fund management in achieving sustainability and enhanced pilgrim service. You're watching News at 7 on Western Spring Television. Still to come, Nigeria Police Force reactivates issuance of tinted glass permits nationwide through a secure and user-friendly platform.